Hello and good evening, everyone. Hope you're making the best use of this lockdown time by spending quality time with your friends and family. We know that you must be feeling bored sometimes also. So, to keep you updated and engaged, we at Kidspreneur have come up with the Kids Live series where we keep you updated and engaged and also make you meet new people with different passions and hobbies every day. So today we have with us Mr. Shishir, the co-founder of Kidspreneur, and Ms. Pooja, who is the co-founder of Anthill Creations. Mr. Shishir is a serial entrepreneur, technology proponent who believes technology will touch our lives in future in never thought before ways. He has a vision to transform the future of education in ways not imagined before. Kidspreneur is just a start for him. Welcome, Mr. Shishir.
Thank you, Aditi. Thank you for the welcome.
Today, as I said, we also have Ms. Pooja with us. She is the co-founder of Anthill Creations, a non-profit organization supported by NSRCEL, IIM Bangalore, and NCORE. It aims to make play accessible to all by building sustainable playscapes. Anthill has already impacted over 1 lakh children and 18 states in India. She has also authored a book on women entrepreneurs called The Road Not Taken. She's a TEDx speaker, Ashoka Changemaker, Rajiv Circle Fellow, and was the winner of Social Business Champ by Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus. Today, we'll be talking with her and getting to know a lot about her life and how she went into this startup thing. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Aditi. Happy to be here.
So,
It is great to have you. It is great to have you here, Pooja. Finally, we meet on a kids live show.
Yes.
I mean, we'll have to keep inviting you more to talk more to you. Amazing work you're doing there, and we hope we get a lot of insight from you for the relevant people here. Welcome.
Thank you, Shishir.
and let me tell all the people watching us that Pooja ma'am will, help us to get to know many innovative ways to recycle waste, which can engage children at home. So it's going to be an interactive session with ma'am and going to give you so many ideas for the lockdown, which is, continuing for some days at least now. So ma'am, can you please tell us something about your journey in your words?
Sure. So basically, we had started this idea when we were in college. I was studying architecture from IIT Kharagpur, and I used to visit a school, which was a residential school for underprivileged children, and children from nearby communities used to come and study there. I, along with my friends, used to visit that school to distribute sweets or clothes on festivals, on our friends' birthdays, on our birthdays. And one time when we were there, we saw that children were playing with broken cement pipes. They were playing badminton with the broken slippers. And that sort of triggered in us as being architects that what can we do for them? We questioned ourselves if play a luxury. It was very disheartening to see that the students didn't even have like a proper play ground where they could play. Like it was just a one big ground. But there was definitely, the need of an object play that was required. So the first playground was built just not even like a college project, like sort of passion to make those 250 children happy. And post college, we took because that's what most people do. And over the next 1.5 years, we received hundreds of requests from across the country asking us to come and build such playgrounds. So that's when we ventured full time into this. It's been 3 years. We've been building playgrounds by cycling tires, drums, industrial waste. We've built over 250 playgrounds across the country. And the problem that we've set out to solve is to make play accessible to every single child. Yeah.
So I think this vision of yours, which started off with a very small thing and went on to, become the Anthill Creations, that's very inspiring. And I think that's how we as kids, like we as adults and other kids out there will be, able to understand the luxuries that we have actually. So we also know that you've written a book. So where did that inspiration to write a book come from?
So that happened again when I was in my third year of college, and I'm not a very good writer, but I was always interested to meet entrepreneurs and know about their journeys. So in my summers of third year, I was talking to one of the professors from my Bangalore, and he suggested that, why don't I write a book on women entrepreneurs. So the idea that excited me about this project was that I would be meeting these entrepreneurs in person, knowing about their stories. I did not really consider what would happen, like when you like writing is difficult, it takes time. But that happened, and actually the most exciting part was to meet these entrepreneurs in person. And while they were telling their stories, sometimes they would tell everything. I mean, and the purpose of writing this book was to inspire people and make them understand that even when you start, you can actually build like these women did. I don't know if it inspired anyone else or not, but it definitely did. And here we are.
Okay, so as you just said that it was, inspiring for you because you met so many entrepreneurs during that journey. So there must be some favorite person that you felt during that time. Can you please tell us about that favorite person you met during that time, that one inspiration model that you had during that time?
It would be actually not fair for me to pick one out of those women entrepreneurs because each of them sort of played an important role. But something that came on top of my mind when you said was this person named Rama Devi. She came from a very rural background, and this is a pattern in all the entrepreneurs that nobody. So I have this set of questions that I used to ask each of these entrepreneurs. One of the questions was, what are the obstacles you are facing, or what are the challenges you faced? And surprisingly, all of them took obstacles as challenges and had overcome them. Nobody said, oh, I did not have support from my family, but they said, yes, my family opposed it, but I convinced them. So there was this strong passion to do what they were doing. And I think that was something which was common. So problems will come. People might not support you at some point in time, but it is your grit and determination which basically will decide how far you will go with your enterprise. So that was very, very inspiring for me. And most of these stories that I wrote about, like they were doing some unconventional things. That was very, very inspiring.
So I think like their stories inspired you and motivated you. Your story today is going to inspire so many out there listening to you and motivate them to think in a direction which they have never thought of before. That's something that's gonna happen today. So why don't you share some ideas of yours today with us and the parents and the kids out there listening to us today?
Sure. So, with this entire COVID thing, suddenly what we were doing came to a halt. And when we started talking to parents and teachers and tried to understand what is happening with this lockdown, we realized that I think the biggest problem is children are facing, right? They're stuck inside the house, so many children. And that is not what they're used to. They're used to going out, running, playing, and they're fine not studying, but they're not fine not playing, right? Like, so they're not able to understand what is happening in the world. They're also stressed and thinking what is happening. So what we have come up with a few ideas. I'm going to share my screen and maybe just talk about these ideas, what parents and children can do while they're at home. And if these ideas help anyone, I think that would be very awesome. So we've divided this into 4 areas. So first is you can maybe make a play corner at your home. You can have some science exploration if you want your children to learn and have built curiosity around why something happens. Physical activity is very important, right? Like most of the children, as soon as the lockdown happened, got glued to their mobile phones playing games. But imagine the amount of screen time they're getting. So they need to play games where there's also physical activity involved. You can also bring out artistic side because all children love colors, they love to draw and love to paint. So this is the first idea. You can basically just put a few table chairs in a corner of your house if you don't want your entire house to be messed up. And put like these shelves and so that they can see what kept where and they can play with those games. You can use some of these raw materials like empty cardboard boxes, newspapers, dry leaves, and let them explore and So what I'm talking about is basic unguided play. This is for age group of 3 to 5. If you have young children at home, these are some of the things that you can do at home. Things to be very careful about is don't get into the fear that children will create a mess, because they will. So get comfortable with that idea and let them bring out the creative side of them. Encourage them with what they're doing instead of telling them. I mean, we always hear in our house, like, don't do this, don't do that. So change that language and encourage them to do things that they really want to do. If they're very young, try and avoid smaller things like beads which they're going to put in their mouth. Children love to draw. And I think we all, when we were young, I used to scribble on doors and walls and never cared, right? Like, so you can create one canvas of wall. If you're very, very particular that you don't want your wall to be destroyed, what you can do is you can put like a monocolored sheet, a bed sheet on one of the walls, and give paint and colors to children and let them sort of bring their artistic side, or just let them have some fun with those colors. You can also create a game zone. So I remember that when I was young, we used to have the wooden sofa in our house, and we used to play, like, we used to imagine it like a cave and used to go around and play in the house itself. So create a game zone for your children, give them tapes which they can use to develop these games on their own, give them few ideas, make a hopscotch for them, or maybe make a twister, and let them. So this will involve a lot of physical activities as well. And you can also play with your children while they are doing this. I think one of the things that for very young children, before they're the age of 5, they develop their sensory skills. So you can play with tactiles. You can create these bins and put simple things which you can find at home, be it pulses. You can break some cardboard material and put in and everything and anything that you can find in the house, and let them sort of explore and do whatever they want to do. Let them explore different textures which exist at a very young age. So these are a few examples of what you can use at home. And yeah, these are some of the wet textures that you can use. So these are a few examples of sensory bins that you can do. We'll not go in detail, probably we'll discuss 1 or 2 of the science experiments that you can do with your children. So take a cup of flour, 1 cup of baking soda, put some vegetable oil in it, and vinegar. If you have some food colors, that will make the entire thing very, very interesting. And let your children see, like, as you put vinegar, what happens, how things change. And this will basically make them very curious how different materials, when mixed together, react and how they work. I mean, we all did these experiments in our chemistry lab. So give a space to your children to do what they want to do. This one's very interesting, right? Like, now that we're talking about bacteria, germs, and viruses, and the entire hygiene is becoming very important for everyone. Make your children understand how this works. So you can just put pepper in water and show them how this is exactly like how germs spread on our hands, and which needs to be stained when you use. This is something that I think anyone can do. You would have those cardboard boxes from the online orders that you would have done. Ask them to make a marble run, and if there are siblings, you can maybe create a competition amongst themselves as to who will create the longest marble run. And one of the very interesting things is, if you leave children to their imagination, they will come up with the games that even you can't imagine. So even in our playgrounds, when we design these play equipment, we do an interactive session with children to understand what their perception of play is. If you just bring the same slide, swing, and the seesaw and give it to them, they might get bored after a while. But if you let their imagination do the work, they will be always engaged with what they have developed. We'll come up with some art activities that you can do with your children. So no need to buy those expensive trade racks. You can create one. on your own. So you can use the toilet paper tube to create a train track and let your children color them. In fact, ask them to color it and build their own game, what they want to do. This can be made out of egg cartons. Either you can help them make this, or you can let them make it on their own. Let them color it in the way that they want to do it. This is one of the ways of upcycling. If you have plastic bottles at home and you want to throw them away, maybe encourage your children to create a small little garden in the balcony in your backyard. And also, this will also make them understand how plants grow, and if they're able to use them, nothing like it, right? So yeah, this is one of the games that not just children but even adults would enjoy. Just take white sheets of paper, make your hands and toes basically on the sheet and play these games. This will also involve a lot of physical activities, and you'll end up having a lot of fun. So these are just a few ideas that we can explore while your children and you are stuck at home.
This is amazing share, Pooja. And some of them, I really like them because they were very cute and they could be done without any worry, even in the lockdown stage. And I'm sure if you allow kids to do at their creative best, probably they'll surprise you. One thing, I think we both work with the kids paradigm from different age groups. Of course, you're doing this wider age group there. I mean, it's been a proven fact. When you let kids use their own creativity and freedom, they'll really come out with amazing ideas, which can just surprise you so much. And looking at you, the way you have been covered by most of the national media there, and I think the best thing which comes out from your posts and news, which I see, is a happy child. And I mean, we both can agree that that smile is what makes every effort and everything worth it.
Yes, sir. As Sir said, those ideas were actually very good, and I think all the parents are going to go back to their childhood after looking at those activities and getting involved with their kids doing all those activities, and especially the one where we were, making the science experiment one where we were making that colored bubbles or something like that with vinegar and all. I like that the most because, yeah, like from a personal point of view, I like that
Maybe
very much.
Maybe science was your favorite subject.
Not exactly, but yeah, I studied science till my 12th standard. Okay, so that was one of the most beautiful thing. And that wall designs also, I think it will be difficult for the parents to give up the love of their walls in the first place for their kids. But eventually they'll understand that the kids are more important than the walls. Yeah, so it was really
That's a lesser cost to share.
Yeah, so I think some of them are gonna be some of the ideas are gonna be, taken out of this session and being used in the lives till the quarantine is there at least, because after that the parents will again get busy in their lives.
Yeah, and I'm sure parents who need more ideas, they'll have to contact Pooja on their Uncle Creations page, and she might just get bombarded with a lot of idea requests now.
Yeah, I think that's gonna start happening as soon as people start seeing her here and telling these beautiful ideas. Great, ma'am. So, if you could share us, like, has there been a time where you felt that you cannot go longer anymore, or you failed badly and you cannot rise up now, and then suddenly you got a motivation and then you were back on track again? If you could share any such story with us, so the kids will also feel motivated the next time they fail.
Every day. And Shishir is an entrepreneur, I'm sure he'll agree. Like just last night I was almost in tears and thinking that, oh, we will not survive this crisis, right? Like, and today morning I spoke to my team and it was all fine. It felt like, okay, we are growing, we're creating huge impact. But yeah, to be very, very honest, I think this happens on an everyday basis. Sometimes the lows are much lower, and But I think what has really helped me, so the first year when I was going through the ups and downs of the entire entrepreneurship journey, it was much harder because I was not expecting this. And in the evening, you would be thinking that, oh, why did we start this? It was not a good idea because we didn't even have a product market fit. Like in the beginning when we were starting, we were ideating, we were reworking on our model, taking feedback, and sometimes, like, as a team, you feel ki, oh, maybe we failed and we are not maybe moving forward. But just next day, you get an email and you feel all pumped up that yes, we are on the right track. That keeps happening, and I think with time, I just got used to that. So the next time that happened, I was like, okay, it is a pattern, and I should like keep myself up and motivated, especially when I had in the second year of our journey when we had like a much bigger team who was looking up to me, and I couldn't say that I feel lost today, right? Like as a leader, you have to sort of guide your team, also keep them also motivated. But I think I've been very fortunate to have a team which where we work both ways. My team keeps me motivated, and I try and keep them motivated as well. So yeah, I think it's been working out well for us. As I think the one thing that I've learned right from the entrepreneurs in my book to the people I've met in the last 3 years, and from I think one thing that I've found common in all entrepreneurs is the spirit of not giving up. Whatever happens, keep trying, and something that I try and follow as well.
Those were great insights, and I think the kids will, try to keep them motivated with any ray of hope they find. And as we say, "Umeed pe duniya kayam hai," so that hope might, just help them every time.
Yeah.
Like before we end this session, why don't you share some stories of your childhood with us? I think that would be a good close. How was
I had
your
very happy, playful
childhood?
I can't think of any special incident from my childhood, but I have two elder siblings, and we used to play a lot, and I think that is changing. We used to our entire summer vacations, right, 60 days, we used to play non-stop in the morning and in the evening. As soon as we finished our homework, we used to spend just the time outdoors playing, cycling, doing things. Nobody had to tell us that, oh, you need, like, all the time our parents were like, okay, stop playing and come back home now. And I see that pattern sort of like changing now, where children are encouraging their children, no, you should go out as well, stop getting glued to your TV and your phone and devices. But yeah, the first 10 years of my life I've spent in Almora, which is a hill station basically. And I think my parents, like, people in hills leave their children, like, I think my parents became more protective when we shifted to Lucknow after 10 years. But we used to like play non-stop in the risk of, there was the risk of falling in hills as well, but they just left us to play however we wanted to. And when we shifted after 10 years from Almora to Lucknow, I was very amazed because I thought the entire world was like that. Like, I thought the entire world was like hills and mountains. So that was like one thing that my family keeps making jokes about.
So that's great. I think, we have taken a lot of time from you. That was great having you here and, getting to know about all those interesting and innovative ideas. And of course, about your childhood and your journey. That was another totally different story because every person has their own story.
Yeah. But thank you to you. Thanks to Aditi and Sister for having me here and inviting me for this.
It's always fun talking to people who are working with kids and bringing a smile on their faces. And the more colorful your pictures and shares are, I'm sure that life of kids do get colored in many ways with your efforts and with Until Creations efforts. Wish you all the best, and I hope you come back again on our show and share more insights, maybe more some of those ideas. But yeah, I hope next time we are talking outside the lockdown phase too.
Definitely. Sure. Yes.
So once again, I would like to thank you, Pooja ma'am, and thank you, Shishir sir, for joining us today for this session and enlightening kids and parents with their views and ideas. Thank you so much.